Okay, sorry that took me so long to get back to you. I had to go get my daughter from school. She's fine. Not appendicitis. A little bit of gas, I'm sure. But anyways, so I'm going to get back into this reading. If you don't mind, I have a few things on my mind first. First of all, I just realized that my son is like nothing to worry about. He's like exactly the same as me. He's going, I mean, not that I knew my energy protected him anyway, but it just dawned on me that he's exactly the same as me. He's fine. Like fine. You know what I mean? Like protected, just like I know I am. He's the same way. Exactly. All my kids are. But, he was wailing this morning, just wailing from his room. And I just heard him yell out, "Help me." And I almost ran up there. I sat for a minute, listened to make sure what I just, because if I run to Charlie, he actually usually bites me. It's never helpful. He gets angry with me if I tried. But I was thinking, so I ended up giving him that. I was like, no, he just needs to, just like you wailed yesterday, he needs that today. And so I just left it alone. And but I was thinking, like, oh my gosh, like he's just like me. Like I do that too. And I've always done that. That's how I heal. That's why I'm so good at healing. When it's time to cry, I cry. I don't care if it's in public. I don't care if the whole neighborhood hears me. If I need to scream out in pain, I do. I know my neighbors probably think I'm crazy, but I think they're crazy, so it doesn't matter. Anyways, so there was that story. And then I also wanted to tell you about how I feel like right now it's kind of like, I feel like we're on death row, okay? Okay, just stick with me for a minute. This will be a good story. We're on death row, and it's our last meal, okay? And we can have anything we want. That's what we're doing right now. You can have anything you want. Just don't do depressants, please. That really lowers your vibration. We can't do anything that lowers our vibration. When I say do anything you want, I don't mean go pick up your ex-loser. That's not what I mean. But I mean just like, this is the day. If you want to light up a cigarette, fucking light it up. You know? Just do it. Just do it. Okay, so we were talking about, I'm going to turn this light on so I can see better. So we were talking about these shapeshifters being apprehended, the Arcturians. And I'm not sure exactly where the camera cut out, but I was saying there's big changes coming in for these inverse fools. Yeah, they're not, you guys are so funny. I was like, so what's going on, guys? Like, tell me what's going on. And they're all giggling because I think I'm talking to our, what do you call them? What do I call them, people? Oh, the Galactic Federation. They have a space station right above my house, and I've seen them, and they have little, other spaceships that go off from it, and they try to get my attention because I stargaze all the time, and they try to get my attention. And yeah, this is another story I wanted to tell you guys about. I'm just trying to tell you guys cool stories, really, but they try to get my attention, and they do this by like, I'll be looking at it and they'll start like flying back and forth like this, and I'm like, is that my eyes? Like, am I seeing funny? And then I'll be like, somehow I'll realize that they can hear me. It was so weird. I was just, I could hear them. communicating with me or something. And I was like, you can hear me thinking? And they were like, yeah. I said, well, make a heart shape. Because, like, you know, they were doing circles and back and forth. I was like, make a heart shape. And they made a heart shape for me. I was like, well, holy shit. No joke. So just before I did my last video, I think, it's starting to rain. God's clearing the air. Right before I was doing my last video, I was thinking about, what was I thinking about? Sorry, you guys, my mind goes really, really strange. I was like channeling, because honestly, I don't know what happened. It's like, I think ever since I released my false twin flame, I got like a huge block taken out of my ability to channel. And like a big fear, like block, doom and gloom block, we'll call it. The doom and gloom block has been removed, and now I can see so much clearer. And so I was talking to the Galactic Federation, the Jedi Force. I like that better. So I was talking to and they think it's funny. They think it's a cute name. So I was talking to the Jedi Force, and they are saying that they're stationed right above my house. And they've been there, they said. And that's funny, because when they said that, I was like, I've been talking to you guys. They're like, yeah. Like, wow. That's cool. So there's that. And one time, when I was living at my mom's house and I was going to grad school, I lived on a lake. And I lived in a bedroom that was facing the lake, and it had a sliding glass door. And I used to just lay in bed and look out that door like all the time. I don't think I ever shut that curtain, like never once. And one night I'm laying there, and I was stressing. I was so stressed in grad school. I hated grad school. It was such a nightmare. Anybody that tells me they're going to grad school, I'm like, don't do it. But anyways, so I'm stressing on some flipping final. It's like every final you can get kicked out of school for. If you fail it. It's like every moment of grad school. It was like, how long was it? It was 3 years. Wasn't it? How long was it? It was 3 years. Anyways, every moment was a moment that you could be failed and kicked out. And like literally, you've already, pretty much as soon as you step your foot in the door, you've invested $100,000 already in this grad degree. And not only that, but most of that money that you've invested has been in classes that only pertain to that grad degree. So it's not like you can back up off of a physical therapist degree and go work as a chemist. You know, like even though you have chemistry, tons of chemistry background, you don't have those specialized chemistry courses. And to get into grad school, you have to have specialized courses. So you end up, it's like you have to get an undergrad, and then you have to get like pretty much a whole another year's worth of classes that are prereqs for grad school. And then you have to take an entrance exam, which is like $150. Not that that's a huge portion of it. And then you have to do 50 hours of shadow. This is for physical therapists, but I mean, it's pretty much similar for all medical field grad stuff. Then you have to do 50 hours of shadow work before you can even apply to grad school. Before you even apply, you've made a huge investment. And then credit hours are like $3,000 a credit hour or something like that, $2,500. And each class is like 3 to 5 credit hours. And so really your first semester, you get slammed, you know, that costs you another flipping 20 grand. The books, the books, each book costs, you know, like $150, $200. And they make you buy like 6 books, and I'm not even exaggerating. They make you buy like 6 books for each class. And then they don't teach out of the book at all. They give you like random weird reading assignments that I quit doing because I'm a slow reader. Like, I read slow. I couldn't read 100 pages for each class a night. Like, I couldn't survive that way. I had to go to class every day, take notes. Immediately after class, I rewrote my notes. And then an hour before the test, I would study my notes and I'd ace the test every time. But they would always try to get me on the practicals. That place was filled with reptilians too. They even did it like switcheroos on tests. They'd have like, they'd put a test for one class that was supposed to be for another class the next week. So you thought you had a whole week to study for this test, and they'd give it to you in another class. That was the first time I ever got the highest grade in the whole class, because there were a bunch of nerds, right? That was the first time I ever got the highest grade in the whole class, because I saw that she tricked us. Like, that whole test was from our other class, and how they had them set up was the other class test was a week after. I saw that the first test, and I have to study as I go. So I was halfway prepared. I got through that test, but I was like, oh my gosh. So you don't have time to study for extra tests. You're really slammed. So I studied for that test from the other class and aced it. That teacher was so mad. She was definitely reptilian now, looking back on it. She tried to destroy me. Destroy me. She told me that I wasn't physical therapist material, and I was just, you know, I wasn't smart enough. I wasn't mainstream enough or whatever. I mean, she would just constantly berate me. In physical therapy school, you have to do tests that are like where you have to, like, it's called a practical, and you do it in person. So you have to have all the information memorized, and then you also have to be able to perform it in person. So you go in there and they give you a patient. Well, actually, you go in with a partner, and your partner's your patient. And they give you a scenario. And one time we went in there and I got a scenario. My guy had a broken hip or some shit. Well, I put the gait belt on him, gave him the walker, and when I grabbed his gait belt, I only used 2 fingers. And obviously you got to use your whole hand, right? But I used 2 fingers, and this is a practical. So she dinged me on that. It was the only thing she could ding me out of that whole practical. But she called me after the test. She graded all the tests, and then she failed me and called me into her office. She failed me with a B-, by the way. And called me into her office and said that I was not PT material. You know, basically I was never, she straight up said, you are never going to make it through PT school. You might as well just quit now. You're never going to make it. And the whole time she had my test flipped over what my grade was on it. And she just kept, and it was a whole meeting. Like, there was another professor there and everything. It was like this big meeting about how I was too much of a loser student to be there, okay? And then she turned the test. Finally, at the end, she finally was done with her, like, trying to traumatize me. She flipped the test over, and it was a B-. It was passing. The only thing is I was always rated, you have to have a 3.0 or above to stay in grad school. And I was always rated at the 3.0 because I ended up, what was it? My first class, anatomy, which was 5 credits. That's a lot of memorization. Oh my gosh. I think I ended up with I got a B- in that class. And I fought that the rest of the 3 years in grad school. I think I ended up graduating with a 3.2. but it was a struggle most of that time. Every test mattered. Anyways, back to what I was laying in bed stressing about grad school, looking out my window, and it should have been sleeping, but I could never sleep. And a flippin' spaceship pulled up. No joke. Like, came right up and was hovering over the lake right outside my window. It was looking in my window. And I'm like, okay, I'm seeing things, right? So I get up, and I'm scared at this point. This was years ago. I hadn't conquered all these demons and ghosts and flipping reptilians yet. I hadn't done that yet. And I was just like, whoa, what are they doing? Who is this? What do they want? Like, I was so worried about, like, the alien abduction thing and stuff, you know? And, so I went and got I sat there and looked at it for a good 20 minutes, and it didn't go anywhere. It just stayed there and hovered. So I thought, well, maybe it's just me, right? So I went and woke my brother up. And, sorry, I love ice. People always say, you chew ice? I'm like, yeah. It's what we eat for sustenance on my home planet. I don't know. It's probably true. I don't know. Anyways. So I go get my brother. And, wake him up and bring him in. He's like, I was like, is there a spaceship right there? And he's like, yeah. And so we're like, he's like, duck, get down. We're like on the floor, like there's like, we're surrounded by cops or something. We're on the floor, like looking out the window and shit. For like an hour we laid there. And finally he's like, Beth, I gotta go to bed. I can't lay here with you anymore. Just laying there staring at them. They're staring at us. And finally I went to bed. They stayed there. They never left. I just went to bed. Because obviously they weren't there to do anything but look at me. So, there's that. I don't know. What do you guys want to talk about? Should I start a new reading, or do we need to talk about the reptilians anymore? Not if we don't want to. All right. You want to start a new reading? I know this is going to keep coming up, but because we're dealing with this right now. But maybe that's all for that for now. I just love these curl cards. One more time, guys, okay? I'm going to use them one more time. So, did I tell you I'm going live? Did I tell you about that? I forgot to delete all my storage, and I started this video already. And it stopped after like 10 minutes. I was like, are you kidding me? I didn't delete all that stuff, so I went in and cleaned my phone out. But I forget what I said. Anyways, I looked into going live. I wanted to go live with you guys because I think that would be honestly easier, because then I wouldn't have to upload stuff. Plus you guys would get it faster. We can talk real time. And it says they're setting it up right now. It'll take 24 hours. Isolation, staying in isolation, and growing. Sounds about right. Mimicry. Community. Being mimicked by your community. Mimicry, though, that's like not mocking, that's mimicking. So this is like copycat energy, I guess. So your whole community's copying you. That is growth. That is a lot of growth. So this is kind of a beautiful story here. Because I've been talking about, like, I don't know if I've helped anybody, you know what I mean? Well, until I met you guys, because you guys are great. We're on the same journey, so that's why. But possibly you've been reaching out to people that aren't on your same journey, also, like I did, and it really sent you into isolation, for sure, right? And you did a whole bunch of growth. And now you're like up here on the top branch, and you got the sun shining on you. You got all these other birds checking you out, squawking about you like, you see that? You see what happened to that chick or that dude? They're different. They're way different. And this is number 23. That's my number. And I think it's been my number my whole life. And I'll tell you why. I was thinking about that. It's always been my number. Ever since I was a kid, because my dad killed himself. And he did that when I was 3.5, or he was killed. I honestly think it was the latter, but it really doesn't matter, at this point. So, but growing up, oh gosh, we're getting into story time again. I hope you guys don't mind story time. Growing up, all I had was memories of my dad through his old possessions. And really lucky for me, my dad was cool as shit. Like, cool as shit. He had all the Khalil Gibran books, the I Ching, what else did I get off him? Oh, chess. There were lots of books that I don't have anymore because the way my life has been, I don't have I don't hold on to possessions anyway. I cut and run real easy. It's like one of my famous moves. But, so, what was the more? Oh, yeah. I was really fortunate to have all of his influence from beyond the grave. Where was I going with that? I'm sorry, y'all. He taught me so much through his books, especially Khalil Gibran. Oh my God. I love, love, love Khalil Gibran. He had his whole series, and I read every one. I don't have it anymore, but Khalil Gibran's words are just poetry and just mystical, magical, ascended master poetry. It's funny because one of the comments made on, like, somebody was ragging on me. It was right in the very beginning. It was a quote out of a Khalil Gibran book, and it was the first time I realized that my mom was trolling me. Let me take another sip. Because it was a quote out of a Khalil Gibran book. I know my mom read all those books. Not that everyone else hasn't, but most people that has read one of those books would not attack me with the words of Khalil Gibran. Which the words were, I wish I had the exact quote. I should find it for you, but let me paraphrase. Something like this. He wished that tarot readers were... Basically, he was talking about, he wanted tarot readers to push their spiritual development. He wanted them to become ascended masters and not just sensitives, is kind of the way he put it. And it's not really like, it's not really an attack on readers or anything, but it is the way it was put in this, this comment from this random user, was derogatory. And I'm like, that's my mom. It took me, actually, I think it was like 2 days later, I came back and I said, where's that quote from? I've heard it before. And they never responded. And it was a little after that that I realized that that was my mother. It was actually once they started really heavily attacking me on my shorts. And my brother left a message that said lame. Just lame. That was it. And it was like, Mikey, come on. I know you. And then it was really easy to spot them. And like even my brother Andrew correcting my grammar. You know what I mean? Come on, guys. I know what's going on. So, there's that. Back to the cards. So you've grown. People, you're standing out. People are looking at you, and they're copying you. That's fantastic. All right, let's get into some tarot. Actually, let's use my beautiful tarot. Maybe it'll stay good. This is real good energy. I did say let's change the subject, and they said, yeah, we can talk about that stuff later if you want. It's weird. Like, literally I'm communicating with the command ship. The Jedi Force command ship. They're right above my house. And I can hear, like, the command room. They laugh at my jokes. They think I'm pretty humorous. But they've been there this whole time. And I used to think that they were, maybe they are. I used to think they were two gray aliens that were talking to me. Maybe there are two gray. Because it's a conglomerate of space beings that are on the spaceship. So there could be a couple of grays that... But this particular command ship is assigned to make sure I don't die. And I'm a real pain in their ass because I'm not suicidal. I am a free spirit and I have no fear. Okay, thank you for giving me that. I have no fear. So I've been a real pain in the ass. And it's been they're telling me this right now. It's been their mission to save me. This one time, story time again. This one time when I was 17, I got in a car wreck. And you know what's funny? I don't know how that car wreck happened, but it was because my tires blew, and after the wreck, all 4 tires were slashed. Somebody tried to kill me that night too. It happened again in another car years later in Austin. Somebody loosened all the lug nuts on my tire to where it was just like one strand left. And that doesn't happen by accident. But anyways, this car accident, I've been in many, by the way. This one, all my tires like blew. It sounded like an explosion. I don't know, maybe it was. Maybe there was explosives in my tires or something, but it sounded like an explosion. I know tires blowing sounds like that too. But I was 17, and literally I had just bought myself my first car, and I was on my own already. And just finally got my license. I told my mom, I went to my house. I wasn't living there. I went to my house and I told her, get me my license. Because I was 17, I was a senior. I was young for my grade already. I was like, I want my license. And she's like, no, you're not responsible enough. I'm like, fuck you. You have me out here on my own. Get me my license. And she's like, no. And then I was like, okay, well, I really don't care. I have the money to buy a car. You know what I mean? I'm going to drive with or without a license. She's like, you can't because you won't have insurance. And I'm just like, I can do whatever I want. And then I know, now that I think about it, she was worried about the insurance or the liability aspect. So she took me that day to get my license. And it was a week later, Mom, that I crashed. That was you? And so there's a huge explosion, and I slammed on my brakes. Right, I hit my brakes. I don't know if I slammed them on, but I hit my brakes. I was gonna pull over, and my car just immediately started rolling, and you never came to see me in the hospital either. Like, what the fuck, bitch? What the fuck? You try to kill me and then you let me lay there by myself. Anyways, my car started rolling. I was trying to brace myself in the car, and it hit the ground, and I broke my own leg. Like, it snapped like this. And then I got thrown from the car. And as I was in the air, I could see the stars. It was like, it seemed like it was in slow motion. And I went, and branches are whizzing by, and I'm just like, woo, like, I'm dead. Like, I'm dead for sure. I knew I was dead. And, well, I wasn't dead yet, but I was about to be. And, so, like, right before, okay, so then I hit a tree with my stomach. And I slid down the tree, and I was laying on the ground. And I had my eyes closed at this point. And I was like waiting for the bright light, or something, my dad to come get me something. And nothing happened. So I opened my eyes, and I'm just like, what the hell? And then I'm like, I had a friend in the car, so I'm thinking she's out in the woods somewhere too. And I start yelling, Jenny, Jenny. And then I hear from the highway. And mind you, this is in the middle of winter. I couldn't see the road. I couldn't see anything. And it was nighttime. I couldn't see any of the headlights. This is a highway. I was so far back in the woods, I couldn't see it. It was all darkness. And I hear somebody yell from the road, oh my God, she's alive. And I'm like, keep talking. So I'm like, keep yelling, because I didn't know where I was, and I couldn't see anything. And so I crawled all the way back to my car. I went in there, and my friend was still seat belted in there. There's more to that story, but it's very incriminating. I don't think I'm going to go there right now. But I did manage to get all my stuff out, and somebody driving by happened to know my friend Brett, and was happy to take it all off me. So that was cool. Like, it's a good thing I'm chatty, right? Like, hey, where are you from? But, so anyways, that night, the Jedi Force, they had to come in, and I don't know how they do it. They have to time warp or do something, because it happened so fast that they had to catch me. They literally caught me. And that was the first time. I didn't know about them, but that was the first time I knew that I was protected. I wasn't going to die. I couldn't die. And I probably took that a little far, but I think it was a lesson that to have no fear. And I definitely explored the no fear bit. I mean, I did all the stupid stuff people should never do. I did it. I did it all. I wanted to try everything once. I tried everything once. Well, not everything. I stopped doing drugs with letters and numbers in them. That just got too weird. All right. This is getting really long, so I'm gonna cut this for now. Yeah, let me get an animal card. I feel bad jabbering your ear off, but I suppose if you weren't interested, you wouldn't still be here. So I'll give you an inspirational message. People are mimicking you. I feel like that's not a good thing, though. No, I'm not gonna get into it. I'm not gonna get into it. Who cares, right? It at least got me to remember some stories that I've been wanting to get on paper, but I don't like writing that much, and I don't have a computer to type. I can type fast, but I don't have a computer to type. And not only that, but it hasn't really been until now that I felt comfortable sharing my story. I felt like Too much shame. But not no more. All right. Owl. Observation. You are being... Oh my gosh, I feel like you're being observed. Probably not what I was going to say. You are being encouraged to look beyond deceiving appearances into the true reality of a situation or a person's motives. You need to hear what is really being said despite the words and emotions coming from the messenger. Okay, so I was talking about this earlier. I think this is a really good signal. Any feelings of doom and gloom are a signpost for you to walk away. Right now in the end times, we're just avoiding dark pockets. So being discerning and observant, vigilant. Thank you, Spirit. Vigilant is a big word they're pushing right now. They want everyone vigilant. On guard. Okay? Okay, family? I love you guys. My Vitus. I love you so much. I will talk to you really soon. All right. Thank you. Bye.